Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon from wherever you're dialing in for. Welcome to Talent Team's Ask an Expert or webinar series. Just a little bit of a background on these series before we start. So we have a number of experts who run multiple sessions at the start of each month on all things SuccessFactors. This week we have a fantastic webinar on the next generation of SAP SuccessFactors reporting. So we're very, very excited about that. Just a few notes before we start. The chat will be open to everyone. Please put all your questions in the chat, and we will have some time at the end to go through all of those. But without further ado, let me hand you over to our SuccessFactors XFM lead consultant, Daph, who is going to take you through a fantastic webinar today. Daph, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Callum, and a very good morning, good afternoon, evening to everyone. I am sure we have a participant from different time zone across the globe. We are very thrilled to have the very first Ask an Expert webinar starting from for this year. So yeah, I think that is amazing, and I think another exciting news we'd like to share with you all is Talent Team is also celebrating the 10-year anniversary this year. So that is another amazing experience for all of us. So we are very thrilled to have been into the XXM domain for the good almost a decade. So it's especially a very special year for all of us. Before we would start with the webinar, just a quick background about myself. So I am SuccessFactors HSM lead consultant at Talent Team. I've been with an organization for good almost 2+ years. Prior to that, I've worked with different other multinational organizations in India as well. Yeah, I have had a progressive experience from the corporate HR to the on-premise SAP consulting, and now I've been working as a SuccessFactors consultant for a good few years. So that's a little bit background about myself. And I'm so excited to now get started with our amazing webinar, which is on the report stories, which are nothing but really a next generation of the reporting solution that SuccessFactors offers. So to start with, I think the very first thing we would like to go through is a quick rundown of our agenda. What have we got? What are we going to cover in the webinar today? So let's look at the agenda first. So yeah, so for the webinar today, definitely we are going to focus around how the story report functionality does work in people analytics, what it offers, what are the key features it has, how it works. But before we actually deep dive into specifically on the report stories functionality, it's very important for you to understand that around the people analytics, the entire solutioning, what is it that SAP from the product point of view, what are the different strategy, what are the different architectures, landscape that are in the baseline of the entire solution, because it's just important to understand that why there has been immense evaluation or enhancement around the reporting solution, what is the need, what are the different artifact that works in the background that is actually producing such a nice solutioning for the reporting around SuccessFactors suite. So we will definitely touch base on all these points around the HSM transformation. We will touch base on the people analytics, a small introduction around what it is exactly, what's the strategy behind, what is the baseline structure, and then we will deep dive into the report stories on different parameters here. As you see in the agenda, we will definitely talk about what's the storage solution offer, what are the different capabilities it has, what are the key features which actually story report makes it unique amongst the other reporting solutions that are available in SuccessFactors. There are standard templates available as part of the solutioning. So we will also look at those templates and how you can really utilize those templates to start building your own story reports. You don't have to really start with the scratch. There are, because this is currently evolving, so there are some limitation at this point in time, but as we know that there has been immense progress happened on the product itself. So yes, but it's important to understand that where does it stand at the moment. And yeah, we would also like to give you a quick overview of when you have to create a report story, what are the different parameters it has, how do you actually create a story report. So we will have a very brief demo around this creation of the report story. So I'll touch base on the different aspect you may need to understand for creating a report story. Like my colleague Talim has already mentioned, that we have a Q&A panel open for you to post questions throughout the webinar. So feel free to post your questions, any questions you have, and then we'll take all the questions at the end of the webinar. So that's about the agenda. And now let's get started with our first topic, which is from the people analytics strategy point of view. The core is what was the need to have this evolve, because the HCM actually has now transformed into HSM, which is the human experience management. So if you look at the pictorial representation, I'm showing it here, this actually talks about that as part of the transformation that has happened in the entire solutioning from HCM to HSM, where the employee are the key or the heart of the business, where the employee experience is the key for any HR solution. And that's where the different elements of the experience management has been included. And analytics, the people analytics has been the key around that, because you may have a different kind of data in your HR system, but to utilize that data to create effective reporting, to create effective operational processes, to create effective analysis around it, it's very important that you have a solution, a reporting solution that actually supports the HSM mandate. So when I say the HSM mandate, it's nothing but these are some of the parameters that you would see here presenting on the screen. So as per the current trend, any reporting solution, when it comes to aligning around the human experience, it should always support the engagement. So the reporting solution that it offers, a success factor, it had to be engaging, and that's where the evaluation has been happening. So it has to be engaging. It has to provide a quick data analysis. So there shouldn't be a need for you to massage the data, to do the manipulation offline, or to do some calculations offline and then feed the data back in the system to actually generate the required result. However, the data that you have already in the system, that data itself should be made available within the reporting solution for you to be able to analyze and generate the results what you need. It also should produce the results beyond biasness. So you may already have heard about it, that there are several functions and features now supported by SuccessFactor HSM Suite in different modules that actually support organization to build processes which are far beyond the biasness, because there are some functionality that lets you actually make aware that these are the functions if you follow, you will actually run your processes beyond biasness, and there will be nothing which unconscious biasness that exists in your processes. It also has to provide a clear next steps. So you can have a data available, you can have the results available with you, but what do you want to drive with those results? So that's what another key feature of a reporting solution should offer, and that's what the people analytics does offer. And also it has to drive operational and business success. So all the data that are keyed in a solution, in a success factor solution or any HR solution, the data is actually the base for driving the different results, driving different strategy within the organization, and also do the effective analysis of any processes that are part of the organization. Because if there is no evaluation or effectiveness of the processes at particular point in time, the experience the results that process is generating, it actually will not suffice what you really need. So that's what the HCM to XSM transformation says, that your reporting solution, it should follow, or it should support the parameter that HSM mandate for any reporting solution. And these are those parameters. And the people analytics, the way that it has evolved, it is well supporting all these features. We are definitely, throughout the webinar, we are going to deep diving on all these aspects in a different topics, but these are the summarized one, that you should have all these in your reporting solution. People analytics does support that. If we move on to our next topic here, so we have understand that now HSM has actually transformed into the human experience management, and that's where now the entire reporting solution offered by SAP within the SuccessFactor suite environment, this is what is called now the people analytics. Because it's not just now the reporting where you would only rely on the transactional report. It is about creating analytical data, creating an analytic which actually brings some insight from the data that you already have in your system. So yeah, the people analytics, as you see, it's the reporting solution. And when I say the reporting solution, it does not only restrict to the reporting, the out of box tools that are available within the SuccessFactor platform, but also there are some external applications which is a part of the SAP product, the workforce analytics and the workforce planning applications these are also part of the people analytics, the entire solution that SAP offers. Some of the tools are directly available if you have a SuccessFactors suite. For some of the application like workforce analytics and the planning, you may have to have a separate licensing other than your SuccessFactors license. The key features that the entire people analytics solution it does offer is definitely the role-based permission access. So this is very important, because for creating a report, you may don't want to have a kind of restriction where if you don't have access to, or if you are not an admin for a particular module, you should not be able to create a report. However, when it comes to the way the reports are created in an organization, there is a dedicated team who actually looks after all the reporting requirement. So it's important that you have your reports created. However, when it comes to pulling out data through those reports, the role-based permissions should also always be respected, and that's what the entire people analytics solution does support. So any permission that a user has, he or she can only be report on the data based on their RBPs available in the SuccessFactors. They really cannot overcome those permissions and extract data unless they have a permission to do it for everyone. You can also set a different kind of filters that you need for reports. This is just, I think it's a very important functionality offered by across different tools that are available in people analytics, that you can create a one report. However, depending on who is going to consume those report, you may want to define different data filters. Data filters can be depending on the data set that you have utilized, depending on if you have a different legal entity in the organization, if you have the different departments, and you do want to have a similar kind of report. However, when it comes to running a report, you don't want the department to see the data from the other department. In that case, the filters play really a vital role. So that's what is all supported by the different tools that are available in people analytics. You can create a filter. It also actually reduce the admin overhead, that they really don't need to create that many reports of the same type. They would just create one baseline report, and then they'll have the filter set up, and those filters will do the work of filtering the data depending on who is going to consume those reports. There is a drill down functionality available across these tools. So that is a very good functionality, which actually helps to see the data derived from the summarize analysis. So for example, you do want to see your gender distribution across a different region, you will see the different matrix around it. But then further to then, you do want to see that where is the more concentration around, where you do want to overcome the diversity around the gender factor. So that's how you can actually drill down the data for a specific region, and then further to the department, and then further to what extent you want to drill down the data. So that's an important functionality available with these tools that are available within the people analytics. And yes, another functionality that is available within the people analytics is where any kind of report you create, be it your table report, canvas report, store report, or you create a dashboard. These are the one which, depending on the requirement, you may want to schedule this report to run on a recurring basis. So you don't have to really come every time and run them. You set a schedule, and then these reports can just run based on the schedule created. If you want to extract data and consume that data outside the SuccessFactor with any other third-party application, or may want to send it somewhere for any outbound integration, that's where the scheduling also helps you to schedule these reports to send the data to the SFTP. So that's around consuming the data that's generated by the different reports you may create within the people analytics. So this actually summarizes the very high level key features of the people analytics that it offers. And when I say the people analytics, it comprises of all the different tools that are available out of box within the reporting solution. So your table reports, your canvas reports, your story report, your tasks, your dashboards, and also as part of the people analytics, the entire solutioning, there are advanced and the planning version available, which used to be called the workforce analytics and workforce planning. Now, moving on, after we have talked about a little bit of what is people analytics, it's important to understand that what is the strategy behind around the entire solution that we currently have now. So this strategy has a background of where the leading practices are defined. And this is not only for the people analytics solution, for the other SuccessFactors solution as well. There are architecture leading practices defined by SAP, and they actually form a baseline because these are the practices which have been extracted through the different implementations that has happened, different HR trends that happens across. And with those practices, the best practices around SAP SuccessFactors, the different process library, the different kind of architecture that's available, these all are aligned together and the practices are defined. So what is the strategy that people analytics has? So if you see here, the pictorial representation, currently I'm showing it to you. This talks about what is the high level strategy of the entire analytics solution. So if you look at on the left side, it says when there are an organization is in need for driving their operational success through the data, through the reporting data, what are the different solutions they really can focus that are offered by SP? Then also, if they like to drive a business success through some of the solutions that are offered, what are the solutions that are the best fit? And obviously around all these things, the employee experience, that plays a key role, because that is what the HSM strategy says, the employee is the heart of the business. So any process that is being made, any process that is being revamped, any new solution that is being made, added to the organization HSM strategy, that has to have an employee experience at the core. So for the operational success, as you see that the story report is one of the component that can be a best fit for the organization who are really looking forward to have their data drive their process success. And when you look at on the right side here on the slide, so the SAP Analytics Cloud and the Analytics Cloud for planning, these are the solutions that are available, which are for driving the strategy-based business decisions. So those are definitely where you'll have different metrics defined, you will have your different strategies defined, and then the data analysis happen around the different data that you have available in your HR solution. Moving on to further drill down to what we just discussed, that when it comes to the strategy, it's important to understand when I was saying that for the operational success, what are the different reporting solutions that SuccessFactor offers. So for the operational reporting, definitely, as you see, you have the stories, you have all these stories that are available as part of the people analytics solution. There are, this actually supports live and transactional data, and that is the key, because for driving or for doing a proper analysis of your business processes or the operational effectiveness, it is very important the data that you get, it is a live data. There shouldn't be any actual big lag between the data that is created and the data that gets produced by the reports. So this actually supports for different kind of process analysis, effective analysis, the compliance management. So any organization that needs to adhere to the different compliance regulatory requirements, it's important that they do get all this data which is live. And then obviously we talked about that when the shift happens towards driving the business success through the data, the other solution that are offered by SAP is obviously the workforce analytics and the planning version of the people analytics. Now we will quickly look at the underlying architecture, that how the people analytics as a whole it works, what are the different components it offers from the reporting tool point of view, and what's the data source it has. So as you see here, the actual data source for the embedded people analytics, the solution that is available through the tiles and dashboard kind of reports, table reports, canvas, stories reports, it actually gets the data from the success factor. So the data needs to sit from within the success factor, and that's where these reporting tool can help you create your transactional reports for the operational analysis. The data can also be fed to SuccessFactor from any external source you may have. And then again, once you have the data available within the SuccessFactor, it will help you to utilize any of these tools available within the people analytics solution. However, when it comes to the workforce analytics, it is something where you have a separate system where you can actually feed in the data from directly from the external data source to WFA. You really don't have to like feed the data to SuccessFactor and then it can go to WFA, but you can also feed the data to WFA directly. And then obviously you have your analytics cloud solution that can help you do the reporting around the cross enterprise. So if you can have a different applications, maybe an application for your financial processes, you can have an application for your HR processes. You can all bring data from different application and then feed into these external applications, and they can actually produce the different analysis and the trends as you may need for driving the strategy related decisions or doing the analysis around the business processes. Our focus for this webinar around here is going to be stories, but it's like I said, it's very important that story is a part of the people and analytics solution in its own. So it's important that what are the different component, what is the strategy behind it has, and how does it work. So that's where we are having a brief discussion around these. If I would expand the architecture to a little bit, this is how it would look like. So you have definitely all the tools available within SuccessFactor for all different kind of operational reports you may want to create. And that's where, as you see, again, we have a report stories available. This is the most enhanced version of the reporting tool that's now available within the SuccessFactors. There are dashboard tiles, ad hoc and detailed reporting depending on the for the EC customer, those who have the employee central module, you have advanced reporting available. But for the non-EC customer, it's the detailed reporting that you have available. So you see that it's light down to where you can feed the data. You will have a transactional data available, and then all work on a similar format where you have to have a query created. Query is nothing but where you actually define and how you want to retrieve a data, what data you really want to retrieve. And then these tools that are available across the people analytics solutioning will help you present the data in different format. Report Story now have given you an opportunity to not go to different tools. However, depending on the data that you want to present, depending on the data that you want to do a report on, you can actually focus on the report story format. When I will show you the demo of a sample report story, you will understand that now how it has become really easy for an organization to create a report where a different kind of data needs to brought in for the analysis around different talent processes. For an example, for analysis around different data sets you may have added into different modules within SuccessFactors. You don't have to create a different reports. However, you can bring all that data together, subjected to definitely if that data set is currently supported with the report story, because this is still evolving. And then you can just go ahead and create a report from one place. You don't have to create multiple reports. So that's a very quick brief around the strategy and architecture. Moving on, like I said, our main topic for the webinar is definitely to understand more about the story kind of reports that are now available from and within the people analytics. So it is actually part of, so now the entire reporting solution that you see that is embedded and available from and within SuccessFactors is available from the report center. And that is called the people analytics now. However, the report story, it has now been made available within the people analytics. You can access this through the report center, and it actually is in line with the SAP Analytics Cloud technology. So it actually supports the way SAP Analytics Cloud works. So if you see with the report story, you will have a different options available. You can create table-based report. You can create a charts. You can create a pivot query kind of reports. You really don't have to depend on creating. So any point in time, if you need to create a table report, you would go to the table kind of report. You can come to the story report type of report, and you can build the tables from where and within. So as it states here, it actually consolidates all the different kind of legacy SuccessFactors reporting tools that are available. And a point to note here is the transactional reporting tool. So we have talked about that when it comes to operational or the transactional data that you want to do analysis or take out from the system, what kind of different tools that are available and which tool you need to focus on. That's why we are saying it's a transactional. However, when it comes to driving the strategy kind of report or doing some analysis or around insights, the other solutions, the workforce analytics and planning should be used. So stories is where this solution in people analytics, it actually consolidates all different functionality that are available through the different reporting solution that you have. Majorly, it has most of them as of now. It is still currently evolving with the roadmap. It will definitely reach to a stage where all the legacy reporting solution maybe will be decommissioned. There is no such confirmation or there is no such communication we have as of now. But I think the way it has been evolved, this is, I think it is going forward. For you to be able to access the report stories, you really don't have to have any specific separate licenses. It is available from the platform, from and within the platform. The only caveat here is the reports type of stories. It only works when you have IAS and IPS implemented. That's what the requirement, that you have to have your IAS, because that is the baseline for the report story to work. At this moment, the information that we have is all other different kind of reporting solution that's available, the table report, the canvas report, the tiles and dashboard that are still available, that are still going to be available for some time. And eventually, I think once the story report that will reach to the place where it will have everything that it can support different kind of reports, we may have some communication from the product team that this is now the rest of the legacy tool can be decommissioned. So I think it's all around the strategy. So it's a communication to the customer, the existing SuccessFactors customers, and also the prospects, that if you are planning to start building some reports, it's better that you should start exploring the story report functionality, and then make a call that you do want to continue creating your reports with the legacy tool, or you want to start utilizing the story report. Because eventually in the near future, you may have to start migrating your current report that you have created to the story reports. There may be some tools available maybe in future for supporting that migration, but that at this point in time we don't have any such communication. To talk about some key features about the story kind of report. So definitely this has been available from good few releases, and I think most of, since initially it didn't have the data supported for the learning, but now it also supports the data from the learning module, and it also have continuously evolving with different functionality that it was not offering, now it offers. It actually lies around that why the story report is so highlight now, because it does support the live data. That is the main requirement for the transactional report. It does support joining the data from the different success factor module, and that is the key. I mean, you may have a tool which can support you create a report just on the performance data, just on the career development data. But what if you want to maybe analyze, for an example, an organization have a different recruiting organization, okay, and then you may want to do analysis that, okay, if you have these recruiting vendors, which are those vendors who are actually producing the most effective candidates? So these kind of data analysis you really can't do with anything but with the report stories. It does protect your data privacy and protection. So what does it mean? That your role-based permissions, if any data you have defined as a sensitive data, that definitely again cannot be reportable to the people analytics in report story. And like I mentioned, you have to have, for using a story report within SuccessFactor, you have to have a IAS setup done, because the user thing that is actually done is not done directly to the SuccessFactor. It is done through the IAS. So you have to have an identity provider, be it IAS or the SAP Cloud Analytics. And obviously you have to have an access report center. Report center is now available to every SuccessFactor customer, so you don't need any specific access to enable that. It is available there. Moving on, let's look at some of the more additional key features of the report stories. So like I said, that now it is very easy for combining data from the different modules. So the modules that are available across the SuccessFactors suite, you can combine the data, you can generate analysis depending on the different data source available. The schema structure, it is improved within the story report. So when I say that it's improved, it supports more fields, it is easy to use. So when I would show you the demo of a story report, you will see that the UI of the report story, it is very simple to use. It's a drag and drop kind of UI when you need to create a query, and it is more informative, it is more engaging. You can search different schemas available. Schemas are nothing but the data, different data sets that are combined into different schemas. You can create single domain and the cross domain report. So yes, you can have just a report creating around the recruitment data. If you want to combine the data from the recruitment and combine it with the data from performance, that is also supported through the report story. As it is highlighted here, the other reporting tools that are available within people analytics, they do not support data from these kind of module or the functionality. So onboarding, job profile builder, the spot awards available to the compensation, and the most important is the custom MDF object. The other reporting solution do not support you to be able to report on data from the custom MDF. However, through the report story, you can actually create reports and pull out a data, any data that you are storing through the custom MDF. And it is a massive useful functionality that is available through report story. You can create calculated functions. You can also I think one of the key functionality that story report offer is when someone needs to create a report on a performance, so they can create a report. They really don't have to have access to that field level access, I would say, for the performance module or the form level access for creating a report. They can create a report as long as they have access to create a report in a story. When it comes to running a report and taking a data out of the report, that's where the role-based permission come into play. So this actually simplified a little permissions management for the organization, where with the legacy tool, you had to have an access to the schema level for that particular module for you to be able to build a report. But here you can build a report if even you don't have access to a particular module as an admin, but for you to be able to take the data out of that report, you have to have a specific permission. That's where it respects your permission. If you don't have a permission to extract the data, you really can't extract the data. And the most important is it is a kind of presentation style report. So when I say the presentation style report is, it's not just where you would see a data. You can actually present the data that you are querying through the different modules, different tables within SuccessFactors, and how you want to present it. You want to present it in a chart, you want to have a different sections, you want to have an image, you want to have a filter created on a particular chart, and then you want to have a linked analysis. So you will have one chart created, then you can have another chart created based on the filter that you apply on one chart. It's all about how you want to present the data. Moving on to some more features around the report stories, it does support the date calculations, which is, I think, required in some of the reporting requirements. It does provide you the ratio information. You can have different kind of joins created. So this is important when you actually create a report, when you actually pick a particular schema in a report story. You really don't have to think about that, okay, this particular data set is utilized within which all, for example, if I take an example of Employee Central, so you would choose a particular data schema and you want to know that this is utilized into which different portlet. You don't have to go and check in the system. The story itself will show you that it is connected to these many different data set. And then actually you can actually pick data fields from different sets and then combine and create a query and then have a report ready. This is what just I explained, that you can have the fields in one report from the different schemas, which are your different, can be your different data source. You can create a shortcuts. Those shortcuts can be made available readily on the home page, so it's easier to get the access available to the end users if we don't want them to all the way go to the report center and search for the report. The proxy functionality is also supported with the story report. So someone, if you have delegated through the proxy access to run a report on your behalf, they can just go ahead and do it. Moving on, this is a very nice pictorial representation, I would say. So this can help organization, because if you are having a discussion around, or if you are confused that, okay, there are so many reporting functionalities available within SuccessFactor, but which is the one is the best fit if you want to maybe do a reporting on an onboarding module. So this is a pictorial representation that can help you derive those kind of discussions and then come to a decision on which is the best fit. I'm not going to discuss about the other reporting solution because the focus here is to bring attention. If you see on the rightmost column, the story report actually supports data almost for every modular data set that you see here. However, the other reporting solution that you see, they don't support everything. They do support to most of them, but not everything. So story report are the best fit for most of the solution that you are looking for creating a report around the SuccessFactors suite. There are some limitations. We will definitely touch base on those depending on what are the current limitation as of the last release. But yeah, I think this has evolved to an extent where you can focus on the story reports for creating your different kind of reports. This is a more detailed analysis. So if you want to look at that, what data it actually covers, the story report, it actually covers almost all the module, but for now, obviously it does not support the recruitment marketing and the payroll, ECP, and obviously the JAM. And if you will have the work zone, it does not support the work zone data as well. There are standard templates available. Like I said earlier, these standard templates are available which are ready to use. These are not the ready to use report. These are the template which you can use as a baseline to build your reports. You can create multi-pager reports, you can have multi-data source, you can create interactive charts. So when I say interactive charts, these are actually interactive. So this is the capability you don't get with the other reporting solutions. For this kind of capability, you either have to have a workforce analytics kind of those kind of solution. But with the report story report, you can have a chart created. You can set up a filter. I think I did briefly mention about it. And then you can set up a filter on one chart, and then that will actually derive the data that you see on the other chart. It is that interactive. Okay, moving on, let's quickly talk about, I also would like to do a quick check on the time. So we do have good around 15 plus minutes. Yeah, so we should be able to look at the demo part as well. But before that, you all will receive the recording of the training, and then you will also receive the recording of this webinar. And then here, for your information, if you would like to look at that, what are the different templates that are available from SuccessFactors within the report stories, I have actually linked those documentation here. This is for your information. So this is, feel free to explore more after you have the documentation and the recording available with you. There are some key updates from the latest release. This is again for your quick information that now the workflow configurations within the foundation object, that schemas are also supported. So you can also generate and create a report around the workflow. The mentoring data is now supported. Then the career worksheet data also, there has been some enhancement around what data is available. So now you can have the role related data from the career worksheet in the report story. There was some known gap in the performance management report that has been resolved. That was around the HTML tag. And now the functionality that is available, opportunity marketplace assignment, that is also now can be available within the report stories. If you have opportunity marketplace, if you are using that functionality, you can also utilize SuccessFactors report stories for generating data around the opportunity marketplace assignment that you create within that. So that's very quickly around the latest release highlights. These are the current limitations, and these are the actual current limitations that you have as of day. I would not go to each and every limitations, but these are for definitely your information. So currently, at this point in time, Story does not support RMK, the posting and onboarding 1.0 data. So this is like, if you or have these modules, and if you may be wondering that if you can do a report on these, no, currently that is not supported, unfortunately. If you still on our JDM, the legacy version of the job profile builder, that is data also not supported. Mm, you really can't export data in a Word format. So there are some specific format only supported when you need to export a data. Word format as of now is not supported. When it comes to the language support, the Arabic, Hebrew, and the Vietnamese, these languages are currently not supported. And I think one point also to highlight, when you actually go to the content store and want to import any of the standard report story template, that UI itself currently only support the English language. So you may have a different language enabled, but if you would go to that content store area, you wouldn't find your exact language, but you would see everything in an English language. That is the current limitation as of now it has. And there are some other limitations as well. Feel free to go through these. These are all sourced from the standard SAP documentation. So I believe these are valid as of date. Now, the last topic for which I kept for the end for the webinar is to quickly take you all through creation of the sample story report, and it will actually give you a little bit understanding of how the designer, the query designer look like, how the story designer look like, what are the different components available. But before that, I would quickly summarize this, that for you to be able to access the report story, you have to enable that it from the upgrade center. You have to have IEAS. Without that, you really can't use the report story functionality. The bare minimum access that you need for creating a report is to create a report stories. Then there are some other RBP permission, which is to have you different kind of access. If you want to administer all the reports that are created within the stories, you have to have a story admin access. If you want to schedule a report, you have to have a schedule report that access. And important point to highlight here is, which I already explained, that for creating a report within the story functionality, you really don't have to have access to the specific schemas or a module. You will still see those schemas because they are the part of the structure. However, to report on those schema, you have to have a module level specific permissions. All right. With that, I will now stop sharing the PowerPoint presentation. I will share the demo system, and then I'll quickly take you all through the demo of how you can create a story report. I will share my screen again in a bit. Right. Okay, I am already there. Just checking in that I can access story report. Perfect. I'm gonna share my screen again.
You're on mute, Sadaf. Just to let you know. Let me unmute you. You're still on mute. We just need you to unmute your microphone, if that's okay. Ask to unmute. That's all strange. There you go. Hello again.
Yep.
We can hear you again.
Perfect.
Yep. No worries. Apologies.
All right. I hope everyone can see the SuccessFactors screen here, where I'm going to quickly present a demo of a report story. So over here, you have your story report category. And then as soon as you click on that, it actually takes you to a query designer. So here we have two designers within the report story. You have a query designer and then you have a story designer. So obviously for creating any report, it's consistent. You have to have a query created. And query is nothing but where you pick different kind of fields or columns that you want to retrieve data from. And then combine them. You can define filters. And then when it comes to the story designer, that's where you actually decide that how you want to represent that data, what format you want to use to present that data. So as you see here in the query designer, you see all this available data is not but different kind of schemas that are available. Quickly around that, it does show you all the standard schemas and any custom schema you create. So when it comes to custom schema, you can also create custom schema for the custom MDF objects or for the standard objects, depending on the requirement. And once those are available, though, they will start showing up here and then you can utilize. Just for the demo, I will pick a very quick data set from here. And like I was saying, it is very easy. So it is drag and drop. You don't have to like go and drill and then pick each and every column from here. You drag it, the schema is here, and then it will show up all the columns available, the related tables available, and then you can make a choice of what you want to include in the report. So over here, I believe I will say I want to have, this is job information. Okay, this is better. So for example, I just want to create would like to see that what's a gender diversity and also the marital status diversity for specific gender. So this is where I have picked up my schema. And when I would click on here, it shows me option to pick and select the columns here. So it's that easy for you. So for example, I'll select these and then you can define your filters. If there are any connecting tables, you see this is how this is kind of guided mode of creating a report. So you now see that this personal information is also connected to these other schemas, and if you want to bring in data from these, you can also go and pick some of the columns and then combine. So this is like giving you some overview around what all data you can brought in into this specific report. I don't want anything for any other schemas here. I just want those three fields. And then once I'm done, I will save it. It at times take a little while. Okay, that's it. This is the personal information. We are saying it should be the latest one. You just save your query. So this is gender diversity to status. Query name is definitely mandatory. Description is up to you. If you want to save it, give a nice description, and that you have your query created in just a few steps. And now what you would do is not cancel. I would hit finish here. So your data source, because we picked up the personal information, this is by default would call a personal information, but again, depending on within the report, you can change the data source name, but it will actually pick the from the same schema. It is just how you want to call it out. So now we have created our query through the query designer, which has the different schemas available. Once you pick and drop a schema that you want to use for the report, it actually lets you create the query. And once you're done with the query, you are now navigated to this screen is called a story designer. And that's what I was telling, that once you have a query created, that what data you want to retrieve, then the next step is you want to define that how you want to present that data. And this, there you have a different options available. You want to create a multi-page report, you want to have an image on the first page, you want to create a chart with the query that you have just created, you want to have a different sections, you want to add a nice description of that section. This is all the different widgets available. So these are called the widgets for you. Another important functionality that is available with the report stories, you can also add a comment section, which is very important. If you have kind of strategy reports created, you do want your executives to review and provide the comments, you can add the comment section. They can add a comments, and those comments are readily available with the reports. You don't have to maintain or track them offline. You have different kind of pages available here. Any page that you create, this is the default canvas category kind of page. You can have a responsive page where you add a component, they are always in line to each other. You can have a grid kind of page where you can do the calculation on the page, or you can use a query for that. So over here, I would say I want to add a chart. I added two. I'm gonna remove this one. And then this is, I was saying, linked analysis. You can link a chart to the another chart. So quickly, I am using the same query. I want to do a count, and then my dimensions are for the gender and the marital status over here. So see how quick is this? So it's giving you the gender wise, the marital status. So this is a very quick analysis. You can add any kind of, if you want to do another cosmetic changes, you can do it. You can edit the access, how you, if you want to switch the accesses, you can do it, but there are different controls available. So that's the very simple example of a report story. And using a chart widget, you have created a query through a few samples, and then you have it. When you click on this, you can also filter, like I was saying, you can apply a filter here. So now you're only seeing the female employees, those who are single. So this is how you can, if you want, you can remove this filter, then you'll see the exact data. So this is what the interactiveness of the story report that it offers. Right. I think that's what I wanted to cover as a very brief demo of the story report. I now would go back to the presentation, and I do see we really have 3 minutes left as per the time that we have scheduled. So I do want to give some time for the Q&A. So we'll quickly check the Q&A. If there are any questions from you, we'll take those questions, and then we'll conclude the webinar.
Thank you very much for that, Sadaf. Just while we give people a chance to write their questions, I have also posted the talent team link to the Ask Expert page in the chat as well, so you can check out future sessions. And if you've got any questions that you wanted to ask privately, I've also included the email in there as well, and we'll make sure that your query ends up in the right place. We'll just give people a few more minutes just in case they want to put any more questions in the chat, but also just a big thank you for your presentation half as well. We'll just give people a couple more minutes, and then if not, we'll let everyone get on with the rest of their day. Thank you everyone for your time today as well. Greatly appreciated. Thumbs up in the chat, what we like to see. I think if there's no questions coming through, if you're happy to finish off there. Then we'll just say a big thank you to Sadaf, and thank you to everyone that has joined.
Yeah, really very big thank you to everyone for joining us in this webinar. And like Callum mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, these are the series we do on different topics. So ensure that you do keep a tab of our upcoming webinars and do join us. So we'll be happy to do the webinars on different topics as needed. Thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone.